When you head to the polling booth, you kind of expect your voice to be heard, right? But what if deals made behind the scenes could actually change where your vote ends up? Today, we're going to break down One Nation's public pledge to put a stop to what they call secretive preference deals. We'll use their own words to really understand their argument.
This really gets to a fundamental question. Now, you know in Australia's voting system, you don't just pick one candidate. You get to number them in order of your preference. And if your first choice gets knocked out, your vote flows to your second and then your third and so on. So the real question is, who's actually controlling that flow? Is it you? Or could it be someone else?
So, to get a handle on One Nation's pledge, we first have to look at the problem they say they're trying to solve. They call it the backroom deal problem, and in their view, it's something that really warps the whole political process. The core of their argument really starts right here, with what they've labeled sneaky preference swaps. The idea they're putting forward is that the major parties are arranging these deals in private, deciding among themselves how to direct voter preferences, all without the public knowing anything about it. And they frame this as something that's not just a one-off issue, but a systematic one. The message is that voters are just tired of seeing this happen every single election cycle, and it feels like a genuine betrayal of their trust. So what's the real fallout from these kinds of deals? Well, according to One Nation, the impact isn't just about who wins or loses a particular seat. They say it's actually much bigger than that. And their argument really builds to this point, that these secret deals are more than just frustrating political games. They believe this whole practice is actively destroying people's faith in our entire democratic system. This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have their description of the major parties, making secret deals, being answerable to the political establishment, and betraying voters for their own gain. And then on the other side, you see the alternative they're proposing. No deals, being directly accountable to the people, and putting the interests of Australians first. Okay, so now that they've defined the problem as they see it, what's their solution? Well, this brings us right to the core of their pledge. And there it is, stated as clearly as you can get. No backroom deals, no preference swaps. This single, straightforward commitment is really the anchor of their entire position on this whole issue. So what does this pledge actually mean day to day? Well, it boils down to a few key promises. They say they'll stand on their own policies, they will never get involved in secretive backroom deals, and, this is the big one, they will let the voters themselves decide where their preferences flow. It's all about being answerable to the people, not trading preferences in some hidden political bargain. Okay, so if the parties step away from directing preferences, who steps in to fill that void? This leads directly to the intended outcome of their entire pledge. And this quote right here, it gets to the heart of the principle. The core idea is that voters have a basic right to control their own preferences, without what they call interference from party machines operating in the shadows. It all comes down to this one central idea, the sovereignty of the voter. The principle is actually really simple. Your vote, and every single preference attached to it, belongs to you and you alone. It's not supposed to be some commodity that gets traded back and forth. So you can see, this isn't just about one single policy. It's actually framed as part of a much larger vision, a call for transparency right across the board in politics. The ultimate goal here, as they state it, is to use this pledge as a first step towards bringing real honesty and integrity back into Australian federal politics. So it's about connecting one concrete action to a much broader aspirational ideal. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. We've just explored one party's case for absolute transparency over these secret deals. It raises a bigger question, not just for our political system, but for all of us as voters. What level of transparency do we actually demand from the people who want our vote? Could this be the future of politics?